Okay guys, is Kaspa finally going to pump or not? This is the type of a boredom we are going to see for the rest of this bull cycle, which, yes, by the way, I think we are in a bull cycle. But first things first, Bitcoin will have to finish its cycle in my opinion, and then that's going to be the time for altcoins. The question is Kaspa going to be the type of an altcoin? Let's call it that way. Is it going to be the type of altcoin that's going to perform the way the other altcoins are going to perform? Well, that's something that we'll try to talk about in today's video, right? I'll also try to focus more on technical analysis, guys, and we will see what we can expect in the foreseeable future. We are currently on the 3 daily time frame, and that is kind of most of the picture of a data that we have for Kaspa. So now, what is the bullish thing for Kaspa? I know that I don't want to sound very promising in here, but I have to name things how they are. What is the bullish thing is the fact that we never dipped below this level of a support, which is 0.6 cents, actually 0.056, right? You see that Kaspa over here was making its way towards the upside. Nonetheless, guys, we had a very quick wick, and then Kaspa went towards these levels of 13 cents. However, after such a pump, of course, we do have to have a dump, right? So how 3 daily is looking like? Well, from the standpoint of this overall downtrend, guys, what we see is Kaspa being currently supported. Let me actually zoom the chart in a little bit so you can see it. I know that many of you are actually watching these videos on the phone. By the way, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you're using as a device to watch these type of videos. Is it a phone or a laptop or whatever it is? Anyways, guys, let me not digress. Coming back to technical analysis, we see that Kaspa is currently being supported by this line, right? However, now let's go back to a little bit shorter time frame. So if it comes to the shorter time frame, we do see more of a downtrend basically, right? Well, let's actually come back here, and first of all, Kaspa is in a downtrend, right? We can technically cut it this way or that way, right? Let's say this way, okay, for now. But that could be even considered as a falling wedge type of a thing, but I'm not going to confuse you, and I will move on to this level of a support. What I think might happen in foreseeable future, not financial advice of course, guys, is that Kaspa can pump a little bit, okay? And why? Well, looking at Binance, Kaspa USDT perpetual on a daily, more people are shorting Kaspa at the moment, okay? We've got 340,000 US dollars versus how much if it comes to longs, 162. So you see that there is significant amount of difference if it comes to money, and all of the exchanges on a daily, we've got 1.86 million versus 843,000, okay? And now looking at 7 daily, what's much more juicier is that more people are shorting Kaspa rather than longing, which could be a perfect opportunity to actually long, okay? Go opposite the market. Of course, guys, not financial advice, but looking at what's happening, what I believe can potentially happen, that's 12 hourly, by the way. Let me go to, let's say, 24, and what can potentially happen is that Kaspa is going to go to these levels of 0.84, potentially 0.83 to grab that liquidity. But now let me go back to 12 hours, and let me actually show you guys how this is more visible now on 12 hourly, right? So we got 0.84, then we've got the lowest, which is like bright yellow color, 0.83. So going back here, 0.83 level will be roughly here, okay? So let me just put a horizontal line, 0.83 level. That's pretty much scalping, guys, okay? This is something that I'm not really doing at the moment, but it could be a good trade idea. That would be around what? Well, 2%, okay? So what I believe is going to happen is that Kaspa might go to this level of a support, or potentially even grab liquidity from this level roughly, and then probably gear up for something bigger, okay? Why do I think gear up for something bigger? Well, let's zoom out the liquidity heat map to daily time frame. And as you can see, guys, we do have liquidity piling up at levels of 0.9 and then 0.907. Okay, so let's say 0.9. All right, I'm not scalping, guys, but that's obviously for the purposes of video, which is for educational purposes only, by the way, not financial advice. So coming back again, what was that? That was number 0.90. Okay, coming back to 0.90, where we can potentially expect Kaspa going back to. So basically that trading range in here, right? What in my opinion might happen is that first we are going to see a bit of a dip, okay, and then Kaspa might see a bounce from that level of support. And that bounce, just in case if you will be wondering, gentlemen, because I know that most of you are gents, actually 100% at this time, there will be 10%, well 9.1, almost 10% of a pump for Kaspa only daily. Now let's pull out some indicators and let's see if that's actually correlating with what I'm saying in here. Well, so as you see, daily, if it comes to stochastic RSI, is showing us, well, a little bit of a more upside potential. Okay, that's good. And now if it comes to fear and greed, which I believe is important, we are currently in fear. So in my opinion, these are two confirmations, okay? And now you probably are thinking, okay, but how fear and greed index, you know, these stupid clouds are actually predicting the moves, right? Well, if we are going to zoom out, this is only daily, by the way. Let me actually zoom this out a little bit, guys. You see that these huge waves, I'm going to mark it with vertical line. You see that every single time we do have a greed, if it comes to that indicator, what we are experiencing for Kaspa, well, a local top, right? And after that, the sell-off, right? The greed. Now we are in fear. So I believe that this is quite good if it comes to, well, accumulating some Kaspa, if you wish, right? Now, I don't have to look any further. I'm going to put another vertical line in here, and as you can clearly see, we've got another wave of greed in green color if it comes to that indicator. And what happened? Then we had a little bit of a downward movement, right? I can go back and forth like that, but I hope that you guys do get a picture, right? So what does it mean right now for this foreseeable pump, which I think is going to happen? Well, as I said, guys, I'm not entirely sure if we are going to go towards well, these levels of 0.83 or whatever to grab this liquidity from here, but it's very likely as well that we might go towards these levels of 0.090933 to be very, very exact. So this is your quick analysis for Kaspa if it comes to the short time frame. Now you're probably thinking, is Kaspa going to see $5 this cycle? Well, guys, first of all, let me actually go delete this. Okay, and let's go to, let's say, weekly time frame. Okay, well, what I personally think is that we still haven't had interest rates cut from Jerome Powell or from a new person that's appointed or will be appointed by Mr. Donald Trump, and therefore we have no money printing. Okay, and this is something that obviously market is waiting for. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, if you come back to my Bitcoin video, which I have uploaded a couple of hours ago, you see that Bitcoin is still in its cycle. I can actually pull out this website in here, and you can clearly see that Bitcoin is currently in its own season, right? Kaspa obviously pumped in here 1st of December, but it didn't pump the way that everyone expected, right? So it's very questionable where and when Kaspa is actually going to pump properly, right? I didn't lose faith in Kaspa. I believe it's a really great project, but you know, there are many problems with Kaspa. And what do I mean by saying that? Well, advertisements, right? Nobody's really advertising Kaspa, right? Exchanges don't really want to list it, so on and so forth, but nothing lasts forever, okay? Now, guys, looking at another thing is that we do have outflows from BTC as of last week, and Ethereum ETF's inflows are accelerating. Okay, so what does it mean? Well, what does it mean is that potentially we are gearing up for the altcoin season, and the money is yet to come, to Kaspa included, I believe, right? I'm not going to tell you that Kaspa is going to cost $5 in this update, but now coming back to, let's say, another chart such as Bitcoin's dominance, what we see, guys, on a weekly time frame is something that happened only 2 times pretty much. We had a huge drop if it comes to Bitcoin's dominance, which resulted in a huge and juicy altcoin season. And I do believe that this is exactly what's going to happen again for altcoins. We are going to see altcoin season again, but nobody can really say for sure when exactly. Many YouTubers are saying that this is the beginning of altcoin season at the moment. However, until I'm going to see the proper rejection from this level in here, or actually, further signs of downward movement, then I'm going to be more confident, right? Nonetheless, guys, I believe that we are still before altcoin season, okay? So, guys, to conclude this video, you had your quick Kaspa analysis on a daily, right? We are going to come back to it again tomorrow. And yes, I'm coming back with these updates, guys. Please forgive me for indecisiveness. If it comes to my YouTube channel, this is what I have decided. We are going to come back to technical analysis, a little bit of news, and Kaspa jazz. Now, guys, before I'm going to wrap up this video, market cap is sitting at $2.2 billion. Volume, okay, we had some volume, okay? Things aren't looking really bad, okay? We have a lot of Kaspa mined. Well, in comparison to my previous videos, it was what, like 90%? I believe, guys, that the real party for Kaspa is yet to happen, okay? And I know that, these type of videos, or, just in general, people, they are telling you that you have to be patient, is annoying, but, this is the type of game that you got yourself into, okay? So what I would do, guys, if you are in loss for Kaspa, I wouldn't sell my Kaspa, okay? If you are in profit, of course, do whatever you want to do. Guys, as always, remember that these videos are not financial advice. My name is Luke. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, peace and love, crypto.